addition to my collection on my shelf. It's a little Spyro. Ah, it's so cute. Today, I've been so looking forward to doing Spyro for the last like year and a half. I've had these horns just sitting around waiting for me to do Spyro for the last year. And I find them in my box and I'm like, oh, I need to do Spyro. This is the first official look of 2020, and what better character to do than Spyro the Dragon. If you want some Spyro horns, you can get these on Etsy. I'll put a link for the creator's page in the description below. They can do any color you want. I did gold, or the yellow color, for Spyro's look, but they can do all sorts of colors, and they specialize in that kind of thing. They didn't come with the headband. I had to glue it on there. I don't know if they can put it on a headband, but I just like hot glued it to a headband, so even if they can't, it's not that big of a deal to just glue it on a headband. Everything was coming together smoothly. This wig doesn't even fit my head. I just got it like a cheap wig on Amazon. I meant to actually cut it into like a mohawk. It was gonna be like a mohawk thing, but I figured it was fine with the whole wig, but then it doesn't even cover my whole head. Like, I kind of had to spike it up a little bit just to kind of hide the bun under my head. And it doesn't even cover my ears if I wanted to, so I just painted my ears black. And yeah, and I just kind of styled it like that. I used hairspray from Pantene. That stuff is cheap, and it works perfectly. You don't have to buy this big expensive hairspray for wigs to turn out all spiky like this. But I just kind of styled it like Spyro's, whatchamacallit. The wings, I'm not gonna get too much detail into the wings, but basically I used the foam board stuff and cut it into Spyro's shape of wings, and then I painted them, and then I duct taped them to my back. But they're kind of floppy, but you can't do that if they're not floppy. Ho, 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 ho. Guys, if you're as hyped as I am for this makeup tutorial, please hit that like button if you enjoy this video, and smack the subscribe button and join the horsepower in the name of 2020, and let's make this a great year. So no more horsing around, let's get right into the video, and let's get started. Oh God. Let's get started. And I have a lot of classic gaming characters planned for the next several weeks. Plus, I'm gonna be snowed in probably next week. I'm getting a lot of snow in my forecast. So, I'm probably gonna have a lot of free time on my hands. And I have some other maybe versions of Spyro I'm thinking about doing in the future. So, if you want to see more versions of Spyro, please hit that like button if you enjoy this video, and smack the subscribe button and join the horsepower. And if you have like a certain Spyro you had in mind, leave it in the comments and I could do it next. So I'm gonna start with the lightest color first, which would be yellow. The center of Spyro's chest is like a gold yellow, and then it fades out to be orange. Like the shadows on the edges is orange. I guess orange would be the shaded color of yellow. So yeah, I'm gonna paint the whole center of here yellow, and then shade the outside of it orange. Okay, as you can probably tell, I shaded one side a lot more than the other side. That's because Spyro's chest is kind of pointed, so one side will catch more light than the other. Basic art logic. I'm using Urban Decay's Born to Run palette this time. I'm trying to stick with one palette per look. Trying to. The orange, I went with Baja right here. And right now, I'm going with Riff right here. And I'm going to create those separation lines between each of the sections of his chest. The lines officially only go horizontally. There's no vertical lines. But we're going to use some shading and highlighting to kind of more define that there's a line here as well. But for now, we're going to be making like these V-like horizontal lines to separate the sections of his chest. That was a long explanation. And Spyro's reference photos kind of indicate that they're like a straight line, but I'm just gonna fade it out a little bit because that's my style. I like to blend things out. Now I'm going to use highlights to separate all of this vertically. I'm just going to take white paint and just kind of flick it on one side, and then maybe one flick on the other side. Okay. I think I'm going to shade a little bit darker on the other side, and I'm gonna start off with Punk from this palette, and if that doesn't work, I'm gonna go with Good Is Gone. So it looks like Punk actually did the trick, so I didn't use Good Is Gone yet. I don't know. I might need it later on, but I used Punk to do the dark shading. The last thing we're gonna do for the chest area is just add like these little lines that I see on his chest. It kind of looks like cracks. I don't know if that's what they are, but I'm gonna call them cracks. So the rest of the body, we're gonna paint a light purple. I'm making a light purple because Spyro's scales are actually darker than the rest of his skin. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's how it is. So I'm gonna make the whole thing like a lighter shade of purple, and then make the scales a little bit darker. It'd probably be like a normal purple. And if we do a normal purple for the scales, that would leave us room for shading too. Oh, I already feel the Spyro in me already. So I'm gonna start, for the scales, I'm gonna start with just the purple without changing it. I'm using Graftobian Purple. And it looks like there's not a lot of scales showing. I assume he's completely covered in scales, but there's not a lot of scales like shown. And they're pretty big too. So I think I'm just gonna create some larger shapes and start making the scales. Also, I forgot to mention, I just kind of went crazy with the purple. But after I created the scales on my shoulders, I also made like an ombre effect with that same purple as the scales and just kind of blended into the light purple. That way it's not like one solid color. Next step is to take like a dark purple eyeshadow, something a little bit darker than this, that way you can see the difference. But I'm going to shade under all the scales. Now I'm going to take a tiny brush and a little bit of black eyeshadow, just a tiny bit of black eyeshadow, and just kind of outline all of the scales. Now we're going to take white paint and highlight all the scales. And that does it for the body. Now for the face. The first thing we're going to do for our face is glue down our eyebrows. Well, that one's done. Okay, now that we've blocked out our eyebrows, I'm going to use the same light purple that we'd use for our shoulders. And I'm going to do the same thing where I would paint my whole face purple and then create like that ombre effect, just kind of contouring it, dragon style. Now for Spyro's eyebrows, I'm gonna be pretty literal about it. I don't know how to explain it. He just like has these big eyebrows where I'm gonna shade them in first and then use highlights and it'll just kind of appear. That's my theory anyway. His scales on his head is like way up here where his horns are, but I'm gonna have the wig there, so I'm gonna create like some scales kind of going like right here, maybe a couple up here. They're gonna be kind of large compared to the face, but not large like this. So yeah, I'm just gonna create very dragon-like features to the face. And then I'm going to take this dark shade of pink from the Born to Run called Hellride. And then just for a little bit of interest, I'm going to do pink eyes. And then we're going to highlight everywhere around the face, like on the nose, chin, maybe a little bit up here where above the scales. Just places that you probably normally highlight your face. I'm gonna line my eyes, making a small cat line, put in my contacts, wigs, wings, all that stuff, and we're done. Actually, I'm gonna line my eyes white underneath. Spyro was supposed to be cute, but fierce.